is up, guys? I'm here today with Eric Williams of Bladebinge. He's a knife aficionado, a Georgia boy, and he runs one of the biggest knife aftermarket platforms, websites in the world, bladebinge.com. He also started his company with a rock band. We'll get more into that in just a minute. But first, this is a show where we are making people try things. I'll read the first question while you eat this sucker. We're making people try things that I enjoy. Give it a whirl.
Ben, you're an odd man.
I am a strange man. Welcome to my show. This is a Mexican sucker. It's got chili on the outside. What are you tasting there, Eric?
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. I'm a little frightened, but there's also a bit of joy. So yeah, there's a lot happening here. I'm not mad.
I'm so glad.
Very good.
I left that for you so you can
Thank you.
throw it on there. Here's a cool announcement between Bladebinge and Knafs. We have an exclusive Lander 3 that we are doing with Bladebinge. It's got camo carbon, S35 VN, and it's a limited edition.
20 CV.
Oh, is it 20 CV? Holy smokes. Edit that. It's 20 CV. I knew that, actually, now that you say it.
Yeah.
We have not done a 20 CV Lander 3.
You asked me if I wanted S35 VN, and I said 20 CV.
Why did you say that? Why those
I
preferences?
just like it. Like it. It's a good steel. My everyday carry is a Para 3. The Knife Joy version, I believe, is the 20 CV version. And I love it. I think it's a great steel. Just a really good everyday user. And just kind of thought it'd be fun to change it up a little bit.
So here's my question. You guys, so Bladebinge, we'll get into this in just a minute, is basically an aftermarket platform where I can list knives, sell knives.
Yeah.
This Lander 3 is kind of outside of that. I mean, this is an exclusive on your site. Why that method?
Yeah, so like the elevator pitch for Bladebinge is kind of tough because we have the marketplace component and we also have our retail component. So we've partnered with a lot of brands doing this dark mode collaboration, and it's just been a lot of fun. We wanted to get into the retail side of it, but we wanted to just do something a little bit different. And the dark mode theme has been an opportunity for us to just kind of get creative, and it's also just been a good way for us to meet new people and kind of dive into the industry even deeper than we already are.
That's cool, because you've done collaborations with who so far?
So Devo Knives.
Yep.
American Blade Works. We've done one with Steve Caleri, who's a custom knife maker in Georgia. We did a coin project with Crispy Donut, which was a lot of fun, and a couple others. We've got about 5 that are on the way right now, which I'm really excited about.
That's super cool. Yeah. I like the fact that you do this thing over here, which is aftermarket knives.
Yeah.
A marketplace to put your own knives on and sell them. But then you're also like, we like this knife.
Yeah.
Let's do that as well.
And it's also, it's about the knife, but it's also about the people too. Like we like working with our friends. So, we meet people at these shows and make connections, and it's always fun to brainstorm with one another and put these projects together.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the camo carbon on here. You and I were just noticing every single one of these kind of has a different
absolutely
cut of that camo carbon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why camo carbon? It's basically an acrylic combined with carbon fiber that they turn into a pattern.
I didn't know any of that, so that's cool. Thanks.
You're welcome.
It's
made in the U.S. too.
Yeah, no, I think
by a guy named Andy.
I think that's great. I learned about the material actually last year at Blade Show West, and I was literally for about 20 minutes walking around with a sheet of it because I just liked it and I wanted to take it, but I didn't end up picking it up. But I love the texture of it. It doesn't really need milling. It's not slick.
It's got pretty good grip.
It's got some grip to it, yeah. And just the colorway is just gorgeous for this particular Brittany blue. It's really, really nice. My wife, her favorite color is teal. So that's kind of where the teal came from. We tried to pepper that into the website with our dark mode theme, and that's just kind of how this series of knives came to be. So really cool.
I love it. I love it. You know what else I love? I love funeral potatoes.
Oh my!
So this is a Utah delicacy. These are funeral potatoes.
Okay.
Why they're called funeral potatoes? We eat them at funerals. Somebody dies and you eat these. They're full of butter, cheese, and cornflakes. Give them a
Yeah.
whirl. Let me know how
Okay.
you think.
All right. The cornflakes is
It gives it a little crisp. These are not fresh at this point. They would have been fresh a couple hours ago, but
in Georgia, it would be Ritz crackers on the top.
oh, I like it.
I mean, that's grief food, man.
That's Greek food.
Yeah. That's great.
I love it.
Awesome.
I love it. My next question for you: what's your value proposition with Bladebinge? What is the platform? How does it work? I know you're chewing on, so I'll sit here and talk about it for a minute while you chew. But what is Bladebinge.com, and what do you offer people?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the really quick like elevator pitch for Bladebinge is that it's the eBay of knives. I think that's a really good way for people to kind of associate the business model. It's a user-to-user marketplace. So what we've built is...
So like I could get on there, list a knife,
Absolutely.
and you could buy it.
Yep,
So I could get a Boker Mermaid on your platform.
We encourage Boker Mermaids, as many as possible.
Could you get a Boker Mermaid section of your site?
Yes, yes. A specific category, main tile on the website.
But I'm like, all right, I'm done with the mermaid. I've had my fun here.
Yeah.
Somebody else wants this. I list it, and you're
Absolutely.
like, I need a mermaid in my life.
Yep, there you go.
Boom.
Yep, absolutely. So there's through the knife industry, there's a couple of businesses and companies and websites out there that do consignment. And I think a lot of times our website is mistaken for a consignment store. It's not at all what it is.
Because you're not taking the inventory
We are
in.
not taking inventory. You can go from discovering the platform to registering for an account and listing your items on your phone in about 5 minutes and have
Cool.
them all live on the marketplace. So
That's
really
very
cool.
One of my things I needed to do before this shoot was to set up an account and try it.
You should.
I have not yet.
Yeah.
Because I don't have any knives that I want to sell from. Like I look at my collection, I'm like, what would I part with? But you were telling
Definitely
me.
not this.
No, she stays with me.
She's a key.
You were telling me you guys get a lot of Benchmades,
Sure,
a lot of
yeah.
Spydercos on there.
Yeah.
Is there a particular knife that ends up on there more than others?
You know, not really. I think that, Bladebinge is a great place for people that are kind of still discovering the hobby because you can come in, you can see a lot of things that have maybe also been discontinued. You can see things across all different price points. You know, we have things that are, from like the budget level, all the way up to the Sabenza level and well north of that also. So it's
So like if I went on there today and I'm like, I want to buy a Sabenza.
Sure. Yep.
Am I going to pay and granted, whoever's selling it sets the price,
Sure,
but is it
yep.
typically like 20, 30% off?
Yeah,
Or does
so-
it depend on like new and boxed or how does
Yeah,
it work?
absolutely. So we have like fixed condition guidelines, and I think it kind of depends on the knife. So if there are a lot of knives out there that you can just go and purchase brand new, a lot of times you'll see them on Bladebinge, usually around 30% off of retail. So it's a really good place to find a lot of value. Like if
Yeah.
you're just kind of new to the hobby and maybe you're a little bit hesitant to drop $200 on a knife, might be okay with dropping $130 on the same knife just
To
on a
try
used
it and
marketplace.
decide
Yeah, just
if you
to
like
try
it.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
That's cool. I like it. You know what else I like, Eric? That's a terrible transition.
Love
but, this is a delicacy my mother actually made this batch.
Okay,
This is
all right.
frog eye salad. I grew up eating this.
This is what?
frog eye salad.
Amazing.
So it doesn't have actual frog eyes
All
in it.
right.
Let's be clear.
Okay.
It's a pasta base.
Okay.
Give it a whirl.
There's
Utah.
a lot going on in here.
Oh yeah, there's
Yeah, okay.
marshmallows.
All right.
There's you got mandarin oranges
Yeah.
in there, pineapple,
All
Cool
right.
Whip.
Down the hatch. That's great.
You like that?
That's really good.
Nice. I told my mom I was going to let her know how people liked it.
That's
so,
really good.
Dear mother, that was like a double thumbs up.
Yeah, it was good. What are the round things?
The round things are a pasta, so you actually cook it. I don't know the exact name of the pasta, but you cook it on the stove like you would spaghetti.
That's the one thing that's throwing me off.
It's not doing it for you.
It's just
Texture?
it's texture.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love it. It's an
the
acquired
texture
texture.
The taste is great.
Yeah.
Your mom is a chef. Your mom is a professional chef.
Well, you haven't tried the green Jello yet. We'll get to that in a minute.
Love it.
I love it. My next question for you is this. You kind of straddle, and your website kind of talks about this. You're the eBay of knives, but then you also sell knives too. What's the future of Bladebinge? What are you trying to make it and turn it into?
You know, I think that Bladebinge could very easily, you know, in a couple of years, be kind of a hub for the hobby. You know, it's a great place for discovery. It's a great place for meeting people. You know, my partner Scotland and I have talked about adding like a social component to Bladebinge, which is really cool. So I think that Bladebinge could be a place where if you know nothing or if you know a lot, you can still come and connect with people. So I think just bringing people together and enjoying the hobby is really kind of what Bladebinge is all about.
That's cool. Where did you meet Scotland?
I met Scotland in Atlanta, and
how? This is a leading question.
So Scotland and I are musicians. We've been musicians for 25 plus years. I'm a guitarist. He's a drummer, and we've played in a rock band in Atlanta for about a decade. Really loud. Yeah.
So let me get this straight. You're in a band called the Bantam Breaks.
Yes. Yeah.
You and Scotland are jamming together.
Correct.
And you're like, Scotland, let's do this knife thing.
Yeah. So Bladebinge is 4 guys. Myself, Scotland, Joshua, and Garrett, who are all in the band. Garrett is the
So it's the Bladebinge band.
Yeah, literally.
The triple B.
It's a band. Yeah, it's a quartet, so to speak. Yeah, but you know, Scotland has been a software engineer for many years. I've you know, got a lot of experience in e-commerce and particularly these kind of marketplace structures. Garrett is really good at making sure that websites don't crash, and Joshua builds unit tests and things like that, and did a lot of just initial mock-up and brainstorming work with me. And it was kind of like a Captain Planet moment when we decided to do this. Like I had a really bad experience on Facebook where I purchased something that was several $100s and then just received an empty box in the mail, and kind of was not a good experience. So I started researching what else was out there to kind of serve this part of the hobby, and it just didn't exist.
The aftermarket. Like
the secondary marketplace.
Yeah.
Like there are a lot of places to sell knives. Like you've got Facebook, you've got, you know, Reddit, Knife Swap, and various forums. You've got, you know, Blade forums, a couple of other places, but all of those platforms are peer-to-peer payments, meaning that somebody is assuming 100% of the risk. I'm sending you money directly, or you're sending me money directly.
And they can disappear into the night.
Yeah,
really.
And we just kind of wanted to eliminate that and really just kind of optimize that entire experience. So we've eliminated the peer-to-peer component. So the shady kind of like dark scam sort of thing that you hear about on the secondary market, like, it just doesn't happen with Bladebinge. We've completely eliminated that. Yeah.
That's really cool. I love the fact that you took like these techie guys doing like development, and you built Bladebinge from
nerds.
Yeah, it was nerds. Like, I wasn't gonna say it, but you have. You took these nerds, and you basically like made a band first.
Yeah.
And then you're like, let's take these software development tools that we know how to do, and you built Bladebinge literally from the ground up.
It was an interesting turn of events, but yes, that's
amazing.
exactly the way that it happened. Yep.
Eric, I've been giving you all sorts of food, and now I'm going to take a break because it's intermission time, but intermission time is when I'm going to pull out a guitar, and I want to see if you'll jam for us.
I love it. Yeah, let's do
it. I made Jamie bring in his guitar, because there's a picture of you on the internet, and you look like you're just rocking. And I said, today we jam.
Love it.
Brantley tuned it? Oh, what a guy.
Oh, man. That's cool.
All right, Eric.
All right.
You weren't planning on this.
That's all you get. That's all you get for free, man.
That's all I needed for free, man. Dude, I was like, should we?
Put me on the spot with that one. So I just went classical bluegrass.
I was like, should we or should we not? And Jamie's like, I have a guitar. And I was like, we should. I'm gonna put his very expensive
love it.
Taylor back in
That
the
was
case.
fun. I haven't played, and I actually,
Thanks, Alan.
it's kind of funny right now. I don't have a guitar at my house. Like all of our guitars are. I live about an hour and a half away from the studio that we rehearse in, and all of my guitars are there. So that's like the first time I've touched a guitar in probably 4 months.
Well, I'm impressed. I feel like you should have thrown the pick
That
out.
was fun. Yeah, that was cool. Thanks for doing that.
Dude, that I think that's part of what is really interesting to me about the knife industry,
Yeah,
right?
right.
You bring in all of these people from all of these different places.
Sure.
And I love the fact that like you're connected to these other guys via a different hobby.
Yeah.
A entirely different world.
Yeah.
I think Jamie and I have connected. Jamie, our cameraman, marketing manager, all the things. He and I connect on storytelling and video.
Yeah, sure.
But then it's like, all right, now let's insert knives into that and make cool things.
Yeah.
So I get a kick out of it. Thank you for being a good sport on
Oh,
that.
absolutely. That was a
I'm
lot
excited
of fun.
for you to be a good sport on this one as well.
Oh gosh, it moves.
It moves. Okay, so I don't know
Okay.
why we do this in Utah. We have a reputation for green Jello.
Okay.
And our green Jello comes with things inside of it. This one has carrots. And why you put carrots in the green Jello, I don't know.
Because that's what's at the bottom of your food processor. You know, it's just like in the sink.
You
know,
just
the
throw
food
it in
is
there.
The garbage disposal.
It
yeah,
literally
exactly.
kind of looks like that, but give it a try. I'm curious to see what you think about it.
Okay. All right. I don't like that one. I don't like that one. It's like healthy mouthwash. That's so. I don't know. I don't even know. Like that one threw me. That was not what I was expecting.
I'm
But, yeah.
glad you got to try it.
Yeah.
You know, my mom, she'll typically put like a can of like mixed fruit in there. Like
Yeah.
The carrots, I don't know who decided that's a good idea. We tried to go authentic on it this time, so.
That was wild.
I love it. I love it. You guys have basically bootstrapped this thing,
Yeah.
Bladebinge.
Absolutely. Yep.
You have a day job.
I do. Yeah.
Your other partners, they have day jobs too?
Yeah.
2 questions. When do you sleep? And do you ever see this as becoming a bigger thing where you're like, all right, we're 4 guys in the garage, went from garage band to garage business, now we are a full-time thing? Where's the threshold for you?
Sure. You know, I'm really thankful, and I'm very thankful for Scotland and the rest of the guys that we all have, you know, day jobs that do give us a fair amount of autonomy of time. So like, we are able to kind of jump back and forth pretty fluently, you know.
Yeah.
In terms of taking it full time, right now I like my day job. I mean, it keeps
Cool.
me sharp. It keeps me.
Boss man, did you hear that?
Yeah, it keeps me sharp. It keeps me current. It keeps me just kind of spatially aware, I guess.
Interesting.
If that makes any sense at
Yeah.
all. And I do a very similar marketplace style model in a completely different industry over a lot of different platforms. So it's fun to sort of peek my head in these different platforms and be able to learn and take those things and make Bladebinge better.
Cool.
So Scotland and I have talked about the full-time thing. It's probably more so up to our wives.
I understand that deeply.
But you know, we've got benchmarks and things like that we've talked about. But for now, we're good, kind of playing both sides of the field. You know,
That's
with
cool.
the day job and the side hustle, so to speak. You know.
No, that's cool. So I guess the follow-up is, when do you sleep? I mean, are you working on this kind of a little bit during the day, but probably like you don't sit down and code
No.
a million lines of code. Like, when do you do this?
Scotland doesn't sleep. I know for a fact, but no, it's definitely a lot of just evening work. A lot of, you know, if there's a particular project or something that we're trying to get through, can be some late nights, but it's fun. You know, we're doing this because we love the hobby, we love working together, and we love seeing the thing that we built from nothing become something. So it's really cool.
That's way cool.
Yeah.
That's way cool. Okay, I've got one more selection for you here.
Ooh, ready.
Give that one a whirl.
Okay.
This isn't from Utah. This is just a personal favorite. I
Yeah.
discovered it this year. These are Chinese plums.
Okay.
It's got a pit in the middle, so you don't chew it. You
I
suck
should have
on it.
asked how to eat this.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Don't chew it. Just you kind of just.
I was about to go in, man. Okay.
How do you feel about that?
Just
one?
let it chill.
Yeah. So the way these work, they're almost like a sunflower seed, where you kind of like pocket in the corner of your mouth, and then kind of work the seed out over time.
Okay.
While you're chewing on that, this is my favorite part, man.
I'm gonna like spit everywhere.
You can spit it out if you need to.
No, it's all good.
My question for you is, if you could do it all again, would you still choose knives? Throw it right there by your sucker.
Yeah. I think so. Knives have been. It's been really fun. I enjoy it because I'm passionate about the hobby. Like I love knives. I have a big knife collection, and a lot of the kind of like red tape that has come with trying to build this because of the product category has been really fun because it's a challenge.
Yeah.
If we were building like a blue T-shirt marketplace or something
Yeah.
like that, it would
I
have been,
approve of that,
it
by
would
the
have
way.
been a lot easier, and
Yeah.
and I think we would have probably all just been like, okay, we built this thing and then move on to something else. We would have lost interest
Yeah.
a little bit, but I think kind of being knocked down a couple of times and pulled back up just because of the product category and some red tape that we had to get through just made us want to make it succeed more, So
That's really cool. It's interesting. I've worked at a retailer. I've worked at a brand. I've started a brand.
yeah,
And my interest in an after or a secondary market is so low. Like, it's something that I don't say that
yeah.
disparagingly. I just think you're onto something that's untapped. I mean, the fact that there's so many knives on eBay,
Yeah.
and I see people all the time, like who buy my knives. And they're like, I don't really like it, and I don't take that personally. But I don't really like it turns into, well, it either goes in a drawer,
Yeah.
or you give it away to somebody. Like,
Right.
what happens next?
Right.
And Bladebinge is answering that question.
Yeah.
And I love that because I have drawers full of knives because I work in this. And I enjoy looking at them. I enjoy understanding the pivots and the mechanisms and things like that.
Sure.
But if I were a collector or even just an enthusiast and I had drawers full of knives and I were like, well, I'd like to buy a new one, and my wife says, no way,
Yeah, right.
that's when I turn to Bladebinge. I get rid of this one, and this one,
Yeah.
and turn them into a new one.
Yeah, it's a perfect place. Like if you're at the point in the hobby where you've gotten the full experience out of these knives or this group of knives, and you want to maybe just take a break, get out of it, take those funds, put it into something else, or if you want to upgrade, like you don't have to take that hit out of pocket. You can go on Bladebinge, and sell a couple of knives, put some cash in your pocket, and then make that next step a lot easier.
I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it. Eric, where can people find you?
Bladebinge.com is our marketplace website, and we also have a retail shop called bladebingeshop.com.
I love it. And the Lander 3 in camo carbon, that Brittany blue camo
man.
carbon, will be available on bladebingeshop.com. My last question for you is, where can we go to see the Bantam breaks? Because I'm hooked, man.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
But Smith's Old Bar in Atlanta has been the old stomping grounds for
Cool.
a while, so more than likely somewhere in that area.
I told you that was my last question, but are you doing more knives or guitars right now?
Knives.
Knives. I wondered. I wondered because it seems like it's going to be hard to be in a band and run a website from scratch.
Yeah,
So I love what you're
absolutely.
doing. Thank you, Eric. Good to have you on, my friend.
Cheers.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Guys, subscribe to the channel. We'll have more videos coming out next week.